What's going on, everybody? Ryan the Mighty Quinn here, the Cornerman _MMA. Uh, I got judges' scorecards in front of me here. uh, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You know the drill. Please comment below. I want everyone's take on this. UFC 282, a lot more questions than answers, I guess. I'm going to post a video about this later this week, but Raul Rojas is for real. That kid is awesome. I was skeptic. I don't get behind the UFC hype fighters right away. That dude's he's got kids going places. A young man, we're gonna talk about him later. Main event was a draw, probably an instant rematch. I know I was hoping, and so many others are hoping Glover was going to fight for it in Brazil in the early spring, fight for the belt. Looks like those guys are gonna have to fight again. We'll see. Jan kind of deferred. He did the honorable thing, saying give him the belt. It looked like Jan did feel he lose, but he didn't. And I'm not saying no to a title fight if I'm given one again. So I don't see why Jan would either. Chris Curtis, great upset win. Chris is so much fun to watch with his boxing. I really love seeing how they both implemented that game. But the major decision that stuck out to me, even though the draw in the main event, Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. I'm going to tell you now, I felt Jared won. I wanted Jordan to win. I knew they were going to give it to Paddy. Or no, I didn't know. I was pretty pretty worried they were going to give it to Paddy, based on the judge's decision. Now, this is all due to we are 24 hours removed from Danny Sabatello versus Rufian Stotts. I had good conversation today with both Mike Mazzulia and John McCarthy, and they put into detail that wrestling is really not scoring; it's what you do with the wrestling position. Which is why I don't think they're gonna like what they saw out of Jared Gordon's output, specifically in the third round. But man, the scorecards were kind of all over the place. It didn't go to what I thought they were going to score when I was looking at it. Now, one interesting note I took from that: Doug Crosby was on staff both for Bellator last night, for the UFC tonight, Bellator 289, UFC 282. He scored every round for Danny, and then he only scored one round for Jared, which was round 3. Now, what we saw out of Danny Danny Sabatello last night at Bellator was his effective wrestling. The one round that he scored for Jared was Jared's effective wrestling. Now, maybe that's the scouting report on Doug Crosby. He likes to see effective wrestling. More to come on that. Maybe we're unrolling something. I would like to do pieces, scouting reports on judges, but it's really difficult. But this weekend window might help with this situation. Doug Crosby seems to favor effective wrestling. Now, why do I think that? The other two judges, I forgot their names. They gave the first 2 rounds to Paddy. They gave the first 2 rounds. They gave round 3 to Paddy, and round 1 to Paddy. Or they gave the first 2 rounds to Paddy. It was all over the place, the scoring. I was, usually when I do this, I try to pick apart what the it's usually not the whole fight. It's usually one round in the odd number of rounds that the judges in these decisions are not on the same page. But like it was so weird the way they scored the fight. And what I could say is, going back to the wrestling, or the scoring right there, is I feel like they felt that when Paddy was against the fence or in those positions, that even though those baby punches, they felt those were scoring. Now, in the second round, it was closer, especially Paddy is pretty dangerous against the fence with the submission techniques. Maybe they felt his half-hearted submission techniques should have been scored. That was one thing I felt. He had a couple of tight ones, one in the second, kind of one in the third. I didn't think that they were able to score that well, but clearly they felt that the jiu-jitsu was heavily scored with Paddy in those rounds. Now, I was really confident that Jared Gordon won round 1. I'm going to try and pull it up here. I hate sometimes the computer freezes on me, so that's why I didn't want to go that deep in it. Okay, it's right here. So close. Okay, so yeah, Doug Crosby gave rounds 1 and 2 to Paddy Pimblett. So clearly what Doug Crosby was seeing was, I guess, counter-striking, or in that first round, I guess he saw the counter-striking that Paddy was doing. I think he threw a couple of kicks, and he favored the Paddy. I don't know. I thought if anything that round 3 was going to be the because of the heavy wrestling. Now, um, more or less, um, Chris Lee and John McCarthy. Sorry, Ron McCarthy, not John McCarthy. They scored. Uh, Chris Lee scored. I have it right in front of me here. Chris Lee scored round 1 for Jared Gordon, the way I had it, and he scored rounds 2 and 3 for Paddy. Now, clearly, he saw in round 3, he saw that he did land some knees, Paddy, when he was against the fence, where Paddy's dangerous. That's got to be what it was. He was scoring Paddy's striking when he was held against the fence, and then Paddy's submission attempt in the second round. I don't think that's enough, but that's clearly what he was looking. That's what he saw to be the factor that was the most meaningful part of the rounds. He clearly wasn't looking at the left hooks landed, especially in that first round. Ron McCarthy, rounds 2 and 3 for Paddy, and round 3 for Gordon. Similar to Doug Crosby. Okay, so they had it similar. Man, this is so weird. They're just all over the place with these scores. So I don't know what he saw in round 1. I really don't know what he saw in round 1. Round 2, a lot of both corners felt round 2 was iffy. So I thought Jared won the first 2 rounds, and it was iffy in round 3, given on what you were looking for. So basically, what we saw here is, it's just so weird when the judges' scorecards are all over the place. Basically, what we saw here is that they felt that whatever scoring strikes that Paddy was doing, because Paddy is awkward, that was enough to win the rounds, as opposed to the power punching that Gordon was landing. And that one submission attempt in round 2, I guess. Man, I like I said, I felt that, whether you say, Paddy's the name and everything like that, that's the thing for Sean O'Malley that everyone was saying. I wanted Jared Gordon to win, but going in knowing what we know through this channel and scoring, MMA scoring, I was like, man, they're gonna look for reasons to lean for Paddy, with that striking, in those weird situations, that grappling, those half-hearted submission attempts, which Paddy is so weird. That's one thing about Paddy that's so dangerous, is his awkwardness. He's so awkward with not only striking, he does some like jumping front kicks, but those grappling attempts, those crazy weird darces that he pulls, and that guillotine attempt that's like with the arm in, and and they felt that was deemed damaging, so to speak, dominating. That's what I could see there. They just felt that, even though that this is the sum it up, even though Jared won the duration of the fights, they felt that Paddy did enough with the damage or the situations that he was offensive with. The best example that I can think of for this fight of this past year is Chito Vera versus Rob Font, this is clear cut, where Chito had like the last minute of each round was very damaging, but Rob won the duration of the 4 minutes before. I don't think that this was that cut and dry tonight. I think that Paddy had windows of success in those rounds, but I thought Jared overall won, and I felt that that's what I was worried about, that they were going to count those windows of success, because that's what they were looking for. But like I said, that was interesting. Doug Crosby, looks like that he was really looking at effective wrestling this whole weekend from coast to coast. Like to see going forward if that's what he does. He really likes seeing that wrestling. That's what I got, guys. Got a lot of good stuff coming up this week. I got Grant Dawson. I got an interview coming out with him um, on Thursday, and then I have Raul Rojas. I'm doing a video with him earlier in the week, as well as Elle Dawson, Grant's wife. We're going to talk about some scoring stuff. So please tune in. I just want to get that out there. Talk to you later, guys. Like, subscribe, and share. See ya.